Hi everyone, and welcome to Unleash. And I have a very special guest today, and Joe is going to join me from Bali. And I had the pleasure of attending his conference in Dubai, and it was an amazing session, a workshop, and we plan to see him soon again. And they also had a beautiful retreat in Singapore and also in Bali again. And I'm super excited to have Joe with us. Well, Joe, let me help introduce is a seasoned entrepreneur, a connection expert, a community leader with a career and founding of 12 businesses across tech, education, we are hospitality, real estate, and he has created this beautiful passion of a transformative community. So he's the visionary behind the communication map and pioneering, from different categories and with all this coming into his works, I would like Joe to introduce himself. Hi, Joe.
Samira, so good to see you again. This is actually our second time. Last time we did this podcast, the power went out in the middle. So, the beauty of living on an island.
But we still had a beautiful session, which we're also going to be sharing a few of the snippets. But I wanted to sit down with you today and explore more deeper about the connection map. Please tell us about how is it coming along and what are your works of magic?
Yeah, the connection map is really special to me. And the reason is when I was a younger boy, I felt disconnected. And I felt like the weird kid that didn't have the friends, that was the one that was walking up to the lunch table and wasn't getting invited to sit with the cool kids, and I didn't know how to connect with people. I was awkward in myself. I didn't have the skills. And so over my life it's been this journey of trying to find ways to better connect with people when it didn't come naturally. And from that I really realized that connection really comes, one, from authentic self and from heart, knowing who we are, what we're doing, why we are doing it. And what kind of got born out of that, out of a lot of research and interviews, was breaking human connection down into four chords with different threads in them. So there's about 32 categories. Everything from like how much do you trust someone, how long do you know them, what is the sexuality component? How easy is it to talk to them? How easy is it to do projects, etc.? We broke human connection down so that you can actually just take a quiz, visualize what that connection is, so we can see what that connection is between you and I, see it on a map, and see where we're low and high, and then do really cool stuff like it's going to give it a name. So instead of saying, "This is my friend Samira," we are a we are blossoming allies. Or if it's romantic, you might have a puppy lovership, or you might have a golden relationship, which is a term we've coined that says, instead of saying like Mr. Right or Mrs. Right, the one, what if connections and partnerships were really a simple formula that if we are high enough in each category, in that trust, in the benefits that we give and receive in that care, that's a healthy relationship. And if it's not, we can see where it's low. So we have a lot of mathematical formulas. We've been working with researchers for years. And the reason for this is the number one predictor of happiness, longevity, is actually healthy relationships. It's not nutrition, it's not exercise. In the Harvard, what is it? It's the Harvard study of adult education did a study on this, and it was very clear. So, what a powerful statement to say that healthy relationships are the biggest predictor of our happiness. So then in my journey, the question became, well, how the heck do I have healthy relationships? And and so that led to learning that communication is one of the fastest ways to upgrade your relationship. So I've developed an extensive amount of tools to make it really easy for people how to like transform hateful you statements or blaming you statements into I statements that are received with love. There's an entire framework, there's courses, there's classes, and most of them I give away for free because, I mean, the truth is, I'm just on a mission. I want to see more happiness in the world, in communication, healthy relationships, community. These are all things that lead us to our really direct alignment.
Something that is something so new that you have just highlighted is the healthy relationship that is way superior than the other factors, more than fitness and workout. That's phenomenal because I think, Joe, one of the biggest challenges is us keeping a healthy relationship with ourselves. You know, it all starts from that, and many times, often, we find us breaking good relations, not figuring out how to manage the best relation because we didn't start from the main platform.
Yeah, I mean, what wisdom, Samira, really? Our first healthy relationship we need to have is with ourselves because that's the indicator. Because it's like if you're not healthy relationship with yourself, how are you going to have a healthy connection with someone else? Because the connection they have with you is with an unhealthy connection. So it just makes it difficult, right? The mathematical equation is very simple. So then the question becomes, how do we have that healthy relationship with ourselves? And, I wish I could say that this came easy for me. And it wasn't way later into my life that I really learned things like, how do I have that self love? How do I have those practices every day of dropping in and those positive affirmations and taking care of my body and doing things like exercising, which is still very important to our self love and our health, and it's our temple. So, and it was a long journey for me. And I remember a time, Samira, when it was someone I was close with, and I was a big community leader, and I got lots of attention, and we were at an event that I was facilitating, and she says, Joe, I wonder how much self love you have for yourself. And I just remember just like it was hard to hear that because it's like I got things together and the ego wants to say, no, I'm doing good. Of course I love myself. I'm awesome. And I remember going back and being like, I don't know even how to start. What do I do? How do I create more self love? Like, what is there practices? What can I do? And I just started asking and start implementing them in my lives. And now they're consistent, but man, that took me a long time to get right. I wish I'm embarrassed to say how long it took.
But I'm really appreciating, Joe, your vulnerability to how you're open to accepting. A lot of times people are not accepting and they're in that denial. And also having a healthy relationship with yourself, with your health, with money, with the thinking of abundance rather than scarcity, and just knowing that we can turn the impossible to possible. Me being around so many enticing personalities who are millionaires, who failed and lost everything and still got themselves back up, or even with their health or some illness or a bad relationship, or their relationship with their circle of you know kids, wife, partner, boss, parents. I think you just made a connection map here, because we're tracing back. Um, so how do you work on your clients, or how, like, or in the retreat? What is the unique distinguishing factor that you implement and go about forward changing lives?
It starts with the question of how can I best serve the person or people in front of me? Not what do I want to say that gets the most attention or likes, but what does this person really need. And it comes back to this idea of purpose and serving. When we are in service to another person, that is almost always the time that you feel the happiest and you walk away feeling the most fulfilled, right? So when I'm working with people, it changes a lot. But I start with that question: how do I best serve this? What is the knowledge or the tools that I've learned? And most of it I've learned from others. It's embarrassing how much money I've spent on other people's retreats, but I've just been gathering that. And where I've been teaching professionally for 30 years. In the beginning, it was, I had one of the largest training facilities for business processes and software. I've written 40 books and, business processes and software. And so my background was always a teacher. And, I got really good at just taking a piece of software that there was zero manuals on, and I would fiddle and play with the software, and then I would teach people to make it practical and find practical applications. So I find in my work this is still really relevant: is what is the practical tools that I can give to someone that will make real change in their lives. So I worked with a woman yesterday, and she had many businesses, and she's like, came to this retreat, the I Am Creation retreat, and she's like, I need to get out of this successful business in Sweden. It's doing well, but like I'm unhealthy. It's dark. I'm not happy. It's not the right community. So we started with a lifestyle alignment and getting really clear. We started after that. We did an ikigai. I have a methodology called an icky girl, which is a bit different to get to your soul's purpose. Then we created practical lifestyle parameters that helped her have things that every time an opportunity comes up, you come back to these opportunities. You say, does it make me happy? Does it allow me to travel, etc.? So you check that, and then we write a mission and vision statement. And then we learn how to use that mission and vision statement and bring that out into the world. Use your voice to speak, to start getting into manifesting and attracting what it is you actually want. So that's like an example of a process. But I do a lot around communication. Around everything for me is around about alignment. How do you align to the person that you're supposed to be, and what is that higher power that you want to tap into, that knows who you should be? And there's ways to find that very and cover that quickly. Things like, what are you curious about? What are you good at? What are you passionate about? What do you think the world needs? And so I try to take people through practical tools, and I build many practical tools and put them in AI and give those away. I mean, honestly, I spend most of my time just giving stuff away. I think it's what I do.
I honestly can't wait to have you here and book a session,
Oh,
because I'm just feeling that you're looking at everything so holistically, and you are like picking up the pieces and solving that big puzzle, or making that painting into that beautiful canvas, a story of yours that is a guiding light that can trace you to your ideal goals. And usually, how do you, like, Joe, tell me more about, like, what is the most extraordinary experience that you have felt with a client that you had, and what pleasure did it give you when you saw them making that phenomenal change and going through those series of transformational processes, and how was that journey like? What is, because I can't wait to hear all, you must be having so many amazing stories.
I try to work with people that I believe are going to have a ripple impact in the world. And the reason for that is I have limited time in my life. We all do. And the thing, when you asked that question, the first thing that came to my mind, it actually gave me goosebumps. There's someone who I love dearly and is just an absolute brilliant person, brilliant business person, entrepreneur that started many companies. We're talking $16 million a month in net, and just absolutely incredible and just awesome person. And when we did, we weren't even working that much together. I just took him through kind of a purpose driven uncovering session. What came out of that was, he's like, climate change. I am passionate about climate change. I need to do something about this. Like this is serious. Like this is our world. I want my kids to have a world like it's going down, and I need to do something about it. And he's on his third climate change company that he's started. The first one was one that took top CEOs from major corporations, Microsoft, Google, etc., AI companies, and brought them into climate companies. And so he was, because he believed like the way to make big impact is, again, people that already know how to do things. If you can just align them with purpose, they have the skills, they know how to make money, they know how to make a successful business. Put them on something that matters, that is going to literally regrow our planet and help sustain it, bring carbon away, reduce carbon, and then starts a geothermic because fossil fuels are a problem. And now he's got another company that's around helping people that go through natural disasters, climate change disasters, and helping them rebuild and find ways to make sure that they can get their money for their insurance. So it's like literally maybe a few hours of time. Like that's the impact that a few hours can do of just sitting down and asking yourself the questions. Because Samira, I mean, you're in Dubai. I grew up in New York. What is the programming that we've been given our entire lives? It's like make money, get the things, right? And there's nothing wrong with the things. There's nothing wrong having a nice house. Like I love those things, and they're not what brings happiness. It's not what we're designed to do. And there's a statement that I often say, that I say, success outside of your purpose is not your success. It's somebody else's idea of success. It's the university's idea of success. It's the media's. It's the fear base. It's the corporation's idea. They're trying to program you to make them successful, not you successful. So, it's a hard statement, because I've created many businesses. I've made good amounts of money and some of them were really cool, and I liked them, and there's nothing wrong with them, but I wasn't making a positive change in the world. Not with all of them. They were searching for things. God, I had 120 pairs of dress shoes. What the hell do you need that for? Like they're nice shoes. I like nice shoes. Now I think I have one dress pair of dress shoes, and I'm much happier. So again, it's not about the materialism. It's more about, are you doing what truly lights you up? When you wake up, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait to tell Samira, like, I am psyched to do this thing. Want to serve people. It's making an impact. I feel like so useful in the world, and this leads to a lot of health benefits. You live longer. There's facts behind them. So
Joel, I have to tell you this. Not a lot of people are thinking on those lines till today. They're still selfish. They're still self-absorbed in that rat race, and they're not able to get the full vision, sight, um, on really what does give you real happiness. Because for them it's so limited, because they're just serving themselves and they're just consuming it to the point that it's still not satisfying them. Because I think humans are made to be of service, they are made to give along with receiving, but holistically they can't see it, or we're not taught all of this, in the beginning of our, when we're leashing into the world of financial independence. I mean, and then like you said, if we combine both, we can receive the benefits, and at the same time collectively you're doing so much for the nature, you're giving back uh, to this beautiful world that uh, I think so many people lack this knowledge, this awareness, and it's there's not much being done about it. But having you just speak here, it is giving me goosebumps, because that is beautiful. And I think when you do things in a selfless way, um, you are automatically uh, given goodness. It's like it always comes back. You sleep well. You have a relaxed inner voice, and you're not feeling self-conflicted.
Yeah, I mean, how much, Samira? I mean, I know you run in some circles that people that have a lot of money, there's not a correlation. There's actually a really great study. I don't remember the source. I remember I took a class on the science of happiness, and basically what they found is they did the study in the United States, but your happiness actually goes up as you have more money, only up until a very low point. I think it was 70,000 USD per year. Because basically, when you don't have like basic things like safety and house and food, your happiness is low, right? But then after a certain point, the correlation of the money goes up and their happiness was going down. So again, it's not the money, it's the issue. I really believe this. It's really is, how are you making that money? Is that money coming from being in your purpose? And there's great ways to be in your purpose and make tons of money and bring and just magnetize that to you and be in your flow and not have to fight. And like, but you met the people that have made millions, right? and and they have unhealthy relationships. They're divorced. They don't get along with their kids. And there's our people that have made millions and have very healthy relationships. But it's the question is you got one life. What are you going to do with it? Are you going to listen to that programming, or are you going to look for something that really you're passionate about? And people think that like being passionate means being poor. We relate that to the starving artist or the poor musician living in a small little apartment. And it's not true. If you really get on track, it can start to magnetize people to you.
I think it also has to do with surrounding yourself with those with those people with that level of vision. um, and it also has to go with questioning yourself every time, having that self check, that is it really my cup of tea? Is it really going to serve holistically just than myself? I know so many of these families and self-sufficient, having fleet of cars, having mansions, and everything, but at the same time, such troubled relationships with their kids, or not being able to manage themselves, or having a very sad life, if you look at it closely, and them being too lost. It's just sometimes it's very late. I don't believe in that nothing is possible, but no one was there to guide them. Like, we don't have such mentors, if you come to see, you know? No, it was it was a traditional thing, like, my daughter's gonna become an engineer or a doctor, and like those set of things, and then just go into a 9 to 5 working job. But I was fortunate that one side of my family were entrepreneurs, so they did leave their jobs, and then they started their own setup, so it kind of gave me that, which is what I'm still carrying today. But it's difficult because again, it's all about being materialistic, you know and then just being in that grind, and following the footsteps of those people who we think are ideals, but that's not it. There's more than that. And um, and it's a completely different vision. And how can we impart this to the coming generation? That it's so challenging.
It's a hard one. I am not a Yeah, it's. I am not a father yet, and I hope to be one day, and I hope I can answer those questions, and I hope I can answer those questions of one day of how do you impart that to your children, and how do you give them the freedom and the support to let them choose what it is they're really passionate about, and not try to convince them to be the engineer or the doctor, but just ask them like, support them in their passions and their desires. And because for me, that leads to a really awesome, fulfilling life. It's like being surrounded with people that inspire you, that are just doing cool stuff, and they're successful. it's possible. I see it. I see it all the time. And the more I'm working this field, the more I'm around that, and it's like it's just inspired. And the people I'm around are just inspire me. There's a woman actually I'm about to work with, and I'm so psyched. So she has the largest a music distribution in all of Africa, so all the Afrobeat music, etc. And she's retired. She's got 25,000 artists, some of the biggest, the biggest names in all of Africa, right? And she realized, she's like, a week ago, she said, my passion is, my purpose is, I need to bring the voice of an ancestral knowledge of Africa out into the world. And she's like, I don't know how to do that. She's like, can you help me? I was like, babe, you literally have the largest music distribution in all of Africa. Who do people listen to the most? They listen. I mean, a lot of our culture comes from music. So it's like trying to connect pieces of that creative thinking. And it's like, now, can you imagine having, a live aid like they did way back then? I don't know if you remember that, but they got all these famous musicians together to sing a song to go raise money for starving kids. And it was gigantically successful. Or doing retreats for these famous musicians that are, can upgrade their consciousness, their communication skills. Like stuff like that is like, we just need to think big and know that anything is possible. Literally, anything is possible. If you can imagine it, it's possible.
And I think that like we don't even like need to wait to have kids, or we can just like, I think you are doing it already. Like, you have been a kind of in the teaching field. You've been an author, and then the social media is such a valuable tool, and then you're doing the retreats. So you are actually spreading this connection map, vision and wisdom more profoundly than ever. And you're tapping the right places, the countries where you can bring together this beautiful safe community who can actually achieve their visions and at the same time serve a purpose for the larger good. So yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad you feel that way. That whole social media thing, I feel like, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. So if anyone out there is listening and can help me spread the love and these free tools for communication and clarity, like message me, help me get that word out there, because this is not just my message, Samira. This is a message for everyone, and I'm just one voice with it.
Joe, I have seen you when you were conducting your session, and believe me, the way I clicked with you, I saw that beautiful message that you were giving. I mean, how that I think I'm going to repeat that when we also did we talked about it in the last podcast, where you were demonstrating a way where one person can make the difference. If you have that vibrational energy, because everything's about that energy, right? And then you bring together these beautiful people, and then you can have them, go on the same frequency.
Yeah, I think you're referring to the Kuramoto model, which is basically, if the viewers want to visualize, they take 32 metronomes and they just set them to random times. And essentially, what happens is they will all, and a metronome's whole purpose is to keep time, right? Like it's not supposed to change time. But when you put them close to each other, that resonation, the vibrations, the movement will actually synchronize them perfectly over a short period of time. I think it takes about 4 to 5 minutes. So it's like, I use that as just as a demonstration of a model to show that when we are really strong in our message and we're synchronizing and sort of vibrating and knowing what we're doing, it really affects other people. Without getting into the sort of dorky science of quantum physics and energy, which I love to geek out on, but it's very simple. All we need to know is, if we're resonating with fear and greed, people feel that, and that's what you're attracting. That's what you get more of, and that's what you're spreading into the world. When you're just coming with like, hey, how do we both win here, and how do I serve you best, and I can accept your help and you can accept mine. Like that's the frequency of love and care, and the we, going from the me to the we is very important. My friend Rory is an embodiment of that. And it's like this is, you know, what I'd love for people to hear is it doesn't take a lot. If you want, I'll send a free way to create a daily affirmations where you just say what you are. I am happy. I am abundant. Whatever it is, whatever you want, and then you take that and you just feel into it. You say, I am healthy, and you keep saying it until you can actually feel it in your body, because your mind is not what's it's your mind is affecting your body's feelings. It's a cycle. It all comes. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this if you're familiar. But the idea is just when you feel it, it's powerful, and then it becomes true. So I can send that if that's useful. So just start with something. Pick one thing. Anyone watching this, just pick one thing to do. You can throw your email in. Give you a bunch of stuff, and just pick something and just do it. There's other tools out there that are amazing. Just pick one, be consistent every day, and you're going to watch your transformation. You're going to see in that mirror every day someone that's just going to get better and better and better. And that's going to affect you. It's going to affect the people around you. There's a story I want to share. And there was a Franciscan priest, and he wanted to go change the world. So we went out into the world, and he was preaching all over, traveling all over, and it didn't work. No, the world didn't change. So then he went to his country, and he's going to his country and speaking to his country, and the world didn't change. And he kept coming back and back. And then he says, I'm going to change my community, and that didn't work. And he says, I'm going to change my family, and that didn't work. And then he changed himself. And then what happened was his family's like, wow, what's going on here? And his family changed and had an impact. And then his family had an impact on the community, which had an impact on the country. You get the idea where we're going here. The only person you can change is yourself. Start there.
Amazing. Um, something on the lines of Rumi. I love reading his quotes, and like bringing all this change and starting from within can bring that ripple effect. Also, I wanted to touch that beautiful point when the last time we were talking about manifesting, and you said that one of the best ways is to, number one, focus really well on how and what is really for you, and then just thinking that it already has happened, right? Can you talk a bit more on that, Joe? Because it was so beautiful, and so many people sometimes are, are not too sure about it, and they want to, and then they're not feeling that. So
So, first of all, what is manifestation? Let's talk about that. Manifestation is having an intention or a will for something to happen, and then it just happens without the doing or without the struggle of you having to put all the things to start attracting to you. That's what manifestation is. And it sounds really woo woo, and it works. So, an example is I had a download of like, I want to, I started many communities, and I started a living community in New York with 17 people. And so I haven't been living in community, like direct co-living intentional community in a while. And I helped like write some documents for a big one in Bali, and that didn't quite end up being exactly what we thought it was going to be. So it wasn't coming together, and I was trying to make it happen, right? And and then I kind of let it go, and then about a month ago, I just had the hit, Joe. It's time to build another physical community. I said, okay, universe. Okay, so the first step of manifestation is knowing what you want and making sure that what you want is actually what you want and isn't a mimetic desire that you're learning from someone else, right? You see the Fendi bag, you want the Fendi bag. Is that really coming from you? maybe, but probably not, right? So what do you really want? And then you can write that out. Then the next step to manifestation is you picture yourself having it already, as if you already have it. So you actually go into a more meditative state. Technically, it's called a theta brainwave state. You can do that very easily through meditation apps, and you just picture what it is that you want, and you create the scenario of what you want, and you visualize it in your mind's eye, and then you let it sink in to how you feel. How's it going to feel when you have it? But not it in the future, but as if you have it right now. And then you hold those feelings, and then crazy stuff happens, Samir. So then 2 days later, I get a message from someone that's like, hey, we're doing this community in Bali. Do you want to bring 20, 30 people together? Then I had another conversation 2 days after that, and someone else was like, hey, let's bring this community to this section. And even that, and I was like, well, okay, great, universe, thank you. You see, I wasn't even trying to make it, it was coming. And then a couple days ago, someone came in and it was like, hey, we're building a community. Someone's coming in, is going to fund the entire thing. We're all going to sit down, and we just had that conversation. So, in this group feels like a hell yes to me. Um, so, you know, it,
I'm just I'm just like so amazed. It's like, wow. Like, how are these people coming? Are you sure like it was just like they were coming to you by itself?
Well, I mean, there's other things that you do is you put it out to the universe as if it's yours, and you tell your network, right? There's nothing woo woo about telling, hey, Samira, I had this vision. I want to build this community of inspiring people where we're doing TED like talks, and everyone has their own separate house, and there's an event space that's separate and a gym. And you're like, oh my God, I know someone else that has that vision, or I have that vision, or I have investors that would get behind that. They need to or so that's also part of manifestation, is using that voice and saying, this is what I'm doing. You don't say, I'm thinking about doing this, or I'm going to do this in the future. You say, I'm doing this, and you just say it, and that's what starts to attract. But there's something else there that is less sort of three-dimensional, which is that resonation comes out into the world. And I have some ideas of what that is, in tapping into sort of the collective consciousness that we are inside of. But, you could call it God, you can call it universe, whatever you want to call it. There's something there that is connecting us all, that there's information getting passed between us, right? So that is part of how manifestation works, is we are all connected. And lots of teachings show this, and lots of religions, in fact, and philosophies show this, and lots of science shows this, actually. So, you know, we don't need to understand how it happens. We just need to understand that it does. So, tune in, guys. Figure out what you want. Start that manifestation process, and if it works, message me. Let's celebrate together. Let's celebrate.
See all these things fall into place, they're gonna, just think about what exactly you said. Because honestly, just the way you kind of told us about your retreat and how things started coming in together when you wanted to build that community, and also when you have a good intention, Joe, behind that, you know, and when that initiative is also uh, bringing a positive change, with, like, said, from me to V. I love that line from, you know and that's your line. I just So just putting these pieces together, I think that, like, everything is universal. If we all, as individuals, collectively have the same needs, have the same need of love, emotional well-being, having a safe community, having a comfortable life, and if we just hold hands together, and then we just it's but then, and I love the how did you come up with this title, connection map? Because this is all that we've been talking about.
Yeah, I mean, connection map is, it literally just maps the connection. Like when you map a mountain, all you're doing is just putting some understanding and some language or some visualizations to what that mountain is. There's an elevation, there's a tree here. It's a map. And so the connection map just maps the connection. And so you can see it, you can give it a name. You have a bunny black hole connection. What does that mean? So by taking these new words, you can now say, if you understand what a bunny black hole connection is, and I understand that I can just, instead of saying, I have this person that I'm dating, and oh my God, our sex is wild and it's so much fun, and but they're just sucking all the energy out of me, and I'm giving so much to them and I don't get much in return, and I feel like they're overstepping my boundaries, but I'm just so attracted to them. That's a bunny black hole connection. It's bunny is that desire and that sort of sexual passion. Black hole is that energy suck. So we add thousands of these words together to create new words instead of having to say this heuristics. It's very similar to an Enneagram or a Myers Briggs or a 16 personality types, but it's not about who I am. It's about what do we have? What is that connection between us?
And what is that one to one, dynamics? Joe, tell me this. I mean, after hearing so many people would like to reach out to you. So, how do we get in touch with you? Like, what is the way, and what are the exact audience that can benefit from all your beautiful works?
Thanks for asking. That's a beautiful question. My favorite people to work with are the top favorite are people that just exited from a really successful company who are just like badass, smart as hell, knows how to execute, knows how to build teams, and is like, but I don't feel fulfilled. I don't know what do I do now? I have all this money and time? What do I do now? Then I love working with them and getting them in their purpose, and then just watching them just knock it out of the park in whatever project they're going to do next. I love that. I have a 3-month program called the Connection Lab, which is basically I've taken all the tools and these communication tools, relationship check-ins. I have all these. I have this a whole community of people that I really admire and respect because I don't pretend to be a guru. I know that it takes a community to really have lots and lots of knowledge. So we basically for 3 months, just an hour and a half a week, we get together, we learn skills, we practice skills, we listen to different people in the community. They bring their wisdom. There's interviews, and that's super cheap, honestly. And like anyone listening to this, if you're like, hell yes, I need that, and you can't afford it, message me. We'll figure it out. I'm doing this because this is my sole purpose. And then I have free master classes. So the easiest way is I'll drop you a link, Samira. I have just one link. If you put in your name and email, it'll just send you everything, give you my WhatsApp. If you want to work together one on one, hit me up. We can talk about that. Right now, I'm full with clients, but maybe in a couple of weeks or a month that might change. So just yeah, just hit me up. I'm here. I'm available. I'm asking myself the question, how do I best serve? So, but come to the Connection Lab, watch a couple of these masterclass videos, read these PDFs, get on the mailing list, and just start picking something to take care of yourself. That's gonna start going out, and then upgrade your connections with others because, like we said earlier, that's gonna make you happier, which makes other people happier.
So, like, I think your best work is, or your specialization is to how help people, you know, reset and recharge, and get them more focused into the best way forward, whether it's their new line of business, and just sometimes, we feel rusted, we feel burnout. I mean, I feel that a lot here in Dubai, and then a lot of times the issue is that focus. You lose that exact focus that you want to, target. And so also, just share with us your link, your IG, and I mean, I will be sharing it with all of them, with the podcast and the captions, but also with the name of your Instagram handle, and your website, so they all can get familiarized, because I know, Joe, but I want everyone else to.
The best way is theconnectionmap.com and just / seedling. That'll put a form. You put your name and email, nothing else. I'll just start giving you free stuff. I have a retreat coming up, and I have something really cool. If someone,
Tell us about the retreat.
oh, this one is actually not a public retreat, but it's what I do is I create a container where everyone is the teacher. Everyone pays their room and board, and every single person is the teacher. And I have really huge leaders coming in for this. And all we do is I help sort of create the framework. We mastermind and we have conversations. These are like very successful people in entrepreneurship, in Web3, artists, movie directors, and then we just take a week and we really go deep. We up level each other because I'm at the place where I want to be surrounded with people that I'm gonna learn from, because I spend a lot of time in front of giving, and so I get to build some things that are also for me and for the people that are a lot further along in life. And I also have retreats for people that are just starting out. We'll do one in Dubai. I want to do one called I Am Purpose.
For sure, for
I
sure.
want to do one called I Am Purpose. I had a download a couple of weeks ago that I said, and it said clearly, do a 2-day workshop in Dubai called I Am Purpose that helps people get into their purpose. So, if your listeners are in Dubai, reach out to me. I'll let you know when that is. It's going to be late January, early Feb of 2025. And or something really cool. If you really want to just if you want to take a right turn in your life, come to Bali, spend a week with me. We'll spend every day together, and I promise you, your family and the people around you are going to be like, "Who are you?" Because I bring in all these other people that are working with modalities that I'm not an expert in, especially in like body, breath work,
Wow.
high level consciousness, and I will tailor it to you. I will ask the question, how do we best serve you? And this one's not cheap, but it's like, I mean, it's you walk out of there. We take beach walks, we do hikes, we talk, we drop in, we have ceremonies, and we do the work, and we do a little chilling too. But there's a lot of ways. Basically, if you're listening to this and you're saying, I really resonate with this man, I feel him, and I feel like there's something to learn, just say, hey, Joe, I heard you. I want to learn more. I will get back to you. It might take me a few minutes, but I promise you, it's not my assistant. I will get back to you personally, because that's who I am, and it's important to me.
I absolutely love everything that you're doing. And Joe, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say this out to people where you're spending fortunes on high class travel, on luxuries, on bags, on branded things, and it still does not fulfill you. Like this is an investment in yourself. Like you yourself said that you have invested so much on different, like but believe me, I think that is the best investment that you can do, because that actually is going to multiply your health dynamics. It's going to activate those hidden you know skills that you so badly wanted to explore. I mean, the last thing, Joe, I think is the most sad reality is so many people are at the end of their lives wishing that they could have done what they were meant to do.
Yeah. Yeah, let's not, I don't want to be there, you know.
Yeah, and you're on the tag and the name of your retreat, I am creation,
This one is not
right?
my, no, this is one I was just helping out with. I was volunteering at. It's my friend Alona. She's a business partner. The two of us are going to do the I Am Purpose, but I Am Creation is all hers. And I just support her in
Of
that
course
because I really
it
believe
is.
in her. She's doing big things, and you'll see her in Dubai. But I just had this feeling, Samira, that I want to just kind of end with something, if that's okay. And I just want to say to everyone listening, like, just take a minute, if you can close your eyes and you're not driving, and just picture yourself in that environment where you just picture the time that you last felt completely in your power. picture yourself doing that thing, and then feel that, and then picture you doing that all the time, every day, and getting paid money for it. Surrounded with the people that you care about and are inspired. You're safe. You have everything you need. Like, if you can feel that and see that, you are one step closer to that becoming reality, and it's available for you. And I just want to tell everyone, you deserve it. You deserve it. You deserve to have that life. So just take some time, orient yourself. If you need help, I'll help you, or find someone that can help you. Thank you. I just wanted to, just that felt like the right thing to do.
Oh, it just did. It just resonated so well because I felt a peace and calm, in that space, and I think authentic energies can feel each other. I mean, because just beneath this body, that soul and spirit and energy, they can vibe. Even if this is an online, I can't wait to have another episode with you in person. But anyone who's hearing this can absolutely feel that pain that you have for everyone, that derive to help people change for the best that can serve them. And wow,
I mean, I felt that pain, Samira. I mean, I have, a lot of my life was anxious and depressed and addictions. And, like, I know what it feels. I know what it feels to be lonely. I know what it feels to be out of purpose. I know what it feels to be unhealthy. And it's like, I don't want that for anyone. I don't want that for myself. So I don't want that for anyone else. So, and it's not necessary, right? So, I don't know. We work together. It's people. It's people like you that are making that change and are creating voices and platforms for others and are bringing people. It's all of us together, and I'm really grateful. I'm grateful for our time together to have this conversation. I'm grateful that the power stayed on, and I'm just grateful that, and I'm hopeful that there's one person listening that's like, this spoke to me. And if not, I had an amazing conversation with you and I feel connected with you, and that's totally worth it too.
I can't tell you from the bottom of my heart. I just loved every minute of this, you know, session that we had because everything that you're saying is coming from deep within. And I can absolutely just, you know, convey and connect with so much and everything because we, I feel, are all in a disconnect. And that connection, the first thing that you started off is with having that healthy relationship with yourself, and then serving on and making magnanimous changes like the vibrations. And I want really to see you in person, and I can't thank you enough for this beautiful session. And I want people to reach out to you, and we're going to be sharing all these links below. And is there a way that people can come to your private retreat? Can you, I mean, if they want to register and if it's not too late, is there a way, Joe?
I mean, if there's someone out there that's like, that's definitely for me, you're welcome just to give me, just to DM me, and we can get on a call and talk about it. There's no advertising. It's all, everyone that's coming is someone I know, but the fact that you asked that makes me feel like maybe there's something there. So just message me, and if it feels like a hell yes for me, then and if it's meant to be. And because this idea is not for money or profits or anything. So um and yeah, so the answer is, if it's right, it's going to happen. It's going to happen, and I'm very open to that. I'm open to listening to whatever the universe has for me, and being there for someone. So Samira, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time.
Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure, and there's so many lessons that we just learned, and we can take away and start adapting in baby steps. And you've already made a beautiful difference and a change. I can't wait for this, recording to be out and to be shared by as many of them, so they can connect with you and people in Dubai, if you are listening, which you will, please do sign up for the next retreat that Joe will be orchestrating in 2025, the first, I think, in February, right? And you have to sign in before all the seats go out. And we can't wait to see you in person, Joe. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, Samira. Have such a beautiful day, a beautiful night.
Thank you. Thank you, Joe.